A venture-backed founder in Austin spent $8,400 hiring a senior marketing director last year. She fired him after 11 days. Then she hired him again 3 months later as a consultant at triple the rate. That is not a mistake. That is a system. And nobody in the mainstream financial media will explain to you why this keeps happening, because understanding it would change how you see your entire career. Here's what is actually going on. Self-made millionaires, the ones who built real companies from nothing, do not recruit the way HR departments teach. They use hiring as a diagnostic tool. They are not always looking for someone to stay. Sometimes they are looking for someone to reveal what their company is missing. And they will spend $8,400, sometimes more, just to get that information. That number is not random. $8,400 is the average cost of a single mid-level hire when you factor in recruiter fees, onboarding time, lost productivity, and administrative overhead. Founders know this figure. They budget for it deliberately. What you were never told is that some of them treat it as intelligence spending, not payroll spending. Let me give you a specific example. Marcus Lemonis, the businessman known for rescuing failing companies, has talked publicly about bringing in outside operators for short engagements specifically to surface broken systems. He does not always intend to keep them. He intends to learn from watching them collide with his company's dysfunction. The collision is the point. So why does this matter to you personally? Because if you have ever been laid off after a short stint and felt humiliated, you may have been the tool in someone else's diagnostic process. That is not your failure. That is a billionaire running an $8,000 experiment on company infrastructure. You were not fired because you were bad. You were fired because the test was complete. And if you have ever wondered why your resume keeps getting you interviews but something always falls apart fast, there is a real possibility that you are being selected for a very specific, very temporary purpose. Knowing that changes how you negotiate, how you document your work, and how you exit. Now here is the first real revelation. The pattern has a name inside certain private equity circles. They call it a stress hire. You bring in someone genuinely skilled, someone whose standards are higher than the current team's standards, and you watch what breaks. The reactions from existing employees tell you everything. Who gets defensive? Who collaborates? Who goes quiet? The new hire is essentially a live audit. They cost $8,400 and they reveal $50,000 worth of organizational rot. The founder does not hate the stress hire. She respects them, but keeping them on salary after the audit is complete is inefficient. So she reframes the relationship. She calls it a restructure. Or a role elimination. Or, if she is honest and forward-thinking, she converts them to a consultant. That Austin founder we opened with? She fired her marketing director after 11 days because watching him try to build a content calendar exposed that her company had no coherent brand voice, no editorial process, and no one with decision-making authority over messaging. He did not fail. He walked into a void. She saw the void clearly for the first time. 3 months later she fixed the structure. Then she hired him back to actually do the job she originally posted. He made more money the second time. And she wasted zero time onboarding someone who would have struggled inside a broken system. If this reframe surprised you, subscribe right now. We cover the mechanics of wealth that financial media glosses over because it makes the system look less meritocratic than the story they are selling you. Now here is the deeper layer. This pattern is not just about firing and rehiring. It is about how wealthy operators think about human capital differently than everyone else. Most employed people think of a job as a relationship. Founders think of a hire as a transaction with optionality. There is no malice in that. It is just a different frame. And the frame determines the outcome. When you understand that a founder might be running a stress hire protocol, you can use it to your advantage. You come in, you do exceptional diagnostic work, you document everything you find, and when the inevitable restructure happens, you position yourself as the consultant who solved what the full-time role could not. You do not get blindsided. You get paid twice. The people who get destroyed by short tenures are the ones who never saw it coming. The people who get rich from short tenures are the ones who understood the game before they walked in the door. Here is what you can actually do with this starting today. First, before accepting any role, ask specifically what the previous person in this position struggled with. The answer will tell you whether this is a real vacancy or a stress position. Second, within your first 30 days, write a private internal audit of everything broken in your department. Keep it. If you get let go, that document is your consulting pitch. Third, if you are in a role right now and you feel like the environment does not quite make sense, you might be the stress hire. Start treating your time there as paid research. Document everything. Build your outside offer. The $8,400 recruiting pattern is not a conspiracy. It is a rational response to the impossibility of auditing a company from the outside. Founders use people as instruments. That sounds cold, but knowing it turns you from an instrument into a player. The ones who build real wealth understand that the rules of employment were written by employers. The move is not to resent that. The move is to learn the rules so well that you can use them from both sides of the table. Stay for the next video. We are going to break down exactly how consultants who started as stress hires negotiate their re-entry rates. The number they charge the second time will make you rethink every salary conversation you have ever had.